Sexual energy isn't something to suppress or get rid of. The same life force that makes a family, the same life force that will build a multi-million pound business, is the same life force that can craft and build your dream body. Now, a lot of men don't have a sexual discipline problem. The problem is lack of direction. And in this video, I'm going to explain with you a framework that I've come up with to master your sexual essence and master the art of semen retention. And this comes under the 3 Ps. I'm going to be diving into a little bit more depth on what these are about and how to actually apply these into your own life to gain mastery over your sexual energy. The 3 Ps of sexual energy mastery. So the first one has to be purpose. What I've recognized throughout my journey of semen retention, I've been on this around just over 2 years now. What I've recognized along my journey through my experiences, my relapse always fell around time where I had no purpose or no direction. Now, there's two components to purpose which I'm going to discuss today. Firstly, it's going to be your purpose for taking upon this practice. So that would be the why. What is your deeper purpose behind taking upon this practice? We need to understand this on a deeper core level, and we need to acknowledge the reason behind choosing to retain and to not release our life force energy. So sexual energy mastery is going to become once you can uncover the deeper purpose behind why you took upon this practice. And the same applies for every walk of life. This framework I'm going to be giving you today, you can literally transfer this exact framework to any habit or any specific lifestyle practice you want to take upon. As long as you can master these 3 areas, you will be able to master the art of energy transmutation in any walk and any area of your life. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be speaking specifically about actual energy transmutation. All right, I just want to get discipline over my sex. I don't want to stop watching porn. I want to stop wanking. Yeah, that could be a reason, but why? Do you know? Or we keep asking the question. Okay, I just feel like it. I just feel disgusting and I feel shameful. I feel depleted after I do it. Okay, brilliant. But why? Why do you feel because I feel like it's bad. But why? I want you to dig. I want you to really, really dig deep and ask yourself the deeper questions behind why you're taking upon this practice. For me, when I first got into it, my why wasn't with good intention. The intention behind taking on this practice, I realized not until later down the line. The intentions behind doing it wasn't actually coming from a positive place. It was coming from ego fulfillment. I was trying to appear a better person, or I was trying to validate myself through being able to do this because I wanted to kind of be the person that can do this. And it also, I thought it looked good to women. You know, when I meet a woman and I tell her I'm doing that, I kind of position myself as a superiority because not a lot of men are doing this, and I felt it gave me a little bit of validation here. So when you're doing it through that scope and that lens, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. You just need to recognize that and be aware. As long as you're aware of these things, you can kind of then transition and evolve as you go throughout the journey. But awareness needs to be key to understand the deeper reason why you're doing this practice. Once you've uncovered your why, the second element of purpose that you're going to have to implement into this practice is having a life purpose. So having a reason to get out of bed in the morning, having something to channel that energy into. Sexual energy without direction turns into compulsion. Like I said previously, every time I've relapsed, it's because I've been lack of purpose. So I've ended up seeking pleasure rather than purpose. So pleasure and purpose are always going to coincide together, because if you're not on purpose, or you don't feel like you have some form of purpose to work towards, you're going to be seeking pleasure and comfort in order to compensate that. Having a mission, having some goals to hunt down and something to focus and channel your energy on. Because where you put your focus and attention is where you place your energy. So if you're constantly focusing your attention on women and sex, where do you think you're going to put your energy? You're gonna be channeling your energy and transmuting your energy that way. So you're gonna be releasing either through watching porn or pursuing women and having sex and doing casual sex and so on and so forth. But if you focus your attention on your mission, on your goals, on something that you can work towards, a goal or a meaning that is going to be bigger than yourself. If you can channel your energy into that and wake up every day feeling excited to pursue this purpose, that's going to make this journey a hell of a lot better for you, because that energy now has somewhere to go. It can now be directed and channeled into something positive. Because just allowing this energy to flow freely, or allowing this energy to build up, but giving it nowhere to go, is going to then eventually lead to destruction or compulsion. So you need to make sure you have these locked in. Your deeper reason why, and then a life purpose and a reason to get out of bed in the morning, and a direction for this energy to flow. If you don't give your libido a direction, it will choose pleasure by default. Second P, that will have to be practice. So You've got now somewhere to direct this energy. Now we need somewhere to circulate this energy, because you cannot be on purpose and mission all the time, but you need something now to circulate and move this energy around your body. So this is going to be a physical practice that you need to upkeep in your daily life and repeat every single day, or something you can be consistent with in order to move that energy around. Some concrete practices that I've used throughout my journey and I feel like they've benefited massively for me. Firstly, would be some form of training. You need to be moving your physical body every single day, all right? And I know you can't be high intensity interval training and sparring every day and lifting heavy weights every single day. You do need rest periods. But at least in building a structure and routine around your lifestyle, what you can actually do different elements and different modalities of training where you can keep busy throughout the week. So me, for example, the three things that I keep on top of throughout, this is a non-negotiable for me. I mean, I do this even if I wasn't on semen retention, because I know the benefits and I feel the benefits, I enjoy it, and it just makes me feel, it improves my quality of life overall. And that for me is martial arts. So I do striking, Muay Thai, I've done jiu-jitsu and things like that, but the ones that I prefer is striking, so Muay Thai and boxing. And you don't necessarily need to even go to a gym to do these. The best thing about striking is you can shadow box in your mirror. If you've got a mirror, I'm always shadow boxing in the mirror. Just even if I'm sat there chilling in the evening, I might get a little urge where I've got energy, and I'll just go straight and I'll start sharpening my jab. Just keep throwing the jab. You don't, like, in terms of shadow boxing and developing yourself martial arts, people who think you need to be going down to a gym, training and sparring 4 or 5 times a week, you don't. Unless you're looking to compete or you're fighting all the time, you don't need to do that. If you're doing it for your own personal evolution and to developing yourself, shadow boxing, bag work is enough. All right. If you want to excel and evolve from there, then perfect. But just start there. Just start by throwing. Think about it. If you throw 1,000 jabs a day, think how good that jab's going to be after 12 months. Imagine. Your jab's going to be on par with these amateur boxers or even professional level if you're throwing it that many times. Repetition is what achieves mastery. You achieve mastery through repetition. So martial arts, having a form of martial arts practice is amazing to circulate the energy, and it's also controlled aggression as well, especially being a man with now elevated testosterone and a lot of sexual energy in general. It's a perfect way to transmute it. Other training modalities, so weight training. I train about 70, anywhere from 60 to 80% my max. You can do some max out training or max 1 rep maxes and stuff every now and again. But I'd advise just staying around that level of intensity. That way your recovery is good. You can keep showing up. You're not getting injured and so on and so forth. And then running. So you can do sprints or just like endurance based running, zone 2 stuff. So 30 to anywhere from 30 to 30 minutes to an hour, I think, is the sweet spot. You can go longer if you want to push it on the endurance. I've done high level endurance stuff like trail marathons and things like that. But for me, that's like the extreme end. I mean, just simply doing 5Ks a few times a week, or then push it on a 10K every now and again, for me works perfect. Once again, I want to look at something that I can balance and I can be consistent with. If you're overextending and doing too much, you end up burning yourself out, end up being depleted in energy, and that's when you're more likely to relapse. So you need to be not maxing yourself out. On the odd session, it's okay to do that, of course. I'd say once a week, do a max out session. Either do some sprints, do some 1 rep max testing, or do like full on intervals on the bag rounds, or just flat out even do some sparring once a week or something like that. So yeah, you need a physical practice. Get that locked in, whatever that looks like for you. If you don't like that, just get some yoga or something like that, something that's a little bit lower impact if that's not for you. Secondly, we need something else outside the training, because you're only going to be training 1-2 hours a day max. Breath work. You need to have a breathwork practice. If you want to circulate and move this energy, you've got to be able to transmute this from a physical and mental practice as well. Yeah, you're moving your body, but the energy is always flowing, and sometimes can sit dormant, and sometimes can end up, if you're not moving and circulating, it just gets held into your sexual organs. So breathwork. With the breath work, I'd advise mentally visualizing that energy sending the life force up. So from your genital area, from your root, sending it up the spine. Once again, I've said this on a previous video, there's like a little channel that runs up the back of your spine. It's like a thin channel, and it goes all the way to your top of your neck and into your crown. Okay, so we want to be visualizing sending the energy up through the back of the spine through inhalation, and then sometimes I visualize the energy coming out my crown and then back through and then up through the front of the chest back into the stomach. So that'll be 1 round of breathing. So if you shut your eyes and visualize this energy going, the more you do it, once again, repetition is the key to mastery. The more you do it, the better you'll be able to visualize this actual energy flowing through your body, and the more you'll be able to feel it as well. So repetition with this as well. Meditation, couple that up. So I normally do some intense breath work, visualize the energy, and then I'll sit in a meditation for however long I feel, 10, 15, 20 minutes. That'll help ground your energy down as well and bring you back into the present. Cold exposure, I'll just add a few little additional ones of practice that you can add on. So cold exposure, doing cold showers and cold plunges, going out on walks in nature, having some form of creative outlet as well, like maybe like writing. I'm doing the content creation now. This is me channeling my sexual energy into this by speaking about it on the camera. So something creative, so writing, content creation, anything that tickles your pickle, all right? But not that way. Third P, this is the missing piece for most men, and this is the element a lot of us we tend to overlook. Presence equals staying with the sensation instead of reacting to it. Well, this is then leave it down to presence. So presence is mastery in real time, because you're actually, instead of acting upon the urge, instead of releasing, instead of looking for a way to numb or escape yourself from this energy, you're now learning to sit with it. So presence is observing the sensation without attachment to thought. I'm going to say that again. Presence is observing the sensation without attachment to thought. Because you will feel the energy in your body, the energy circulating and moving, and the impulse maybe normally in your sexual organs. And then from there, how you respond to that is what matters. So if you can observe the sensation, because normally it's going to be coupled up with some form of thought. You might have scrolled something, seen something on Instagram. You might have seen a hot girl down at the cafe earlier today, she's back on your mind. You might have, I don't know, you could be speaking to somebody. Wherever that's come from, that is irrelevant, because that's the thought. The thought triggers the sensation. Sometimes the sensations naturally arise firstly, and then because they arise, our body will automatically try and couple that up with a sexual thought. But this is where we need to make the distinction and try and gauge the detachment from that and look at the sensation separate from the actual initial thought. This is a really powerful meditation practice that can actually be utilized throughout all our life, not just with sexual energy transmutation. Just visualizing or feeling the sensation and choosing to sit with the sensation rather than just getting lost in our thoughts and our mental fantasy. So this could also come down to sitting with it and using the visualization technique that I've just discussed previously under P for practice, because you've got this. You can use this whenever. You can always use the mental visualization. So instead of visualizing having sex with this woman, visualize the actual physical energy in your body and visualize yourself circulating that and becoming a master of that energy, because that's all it is. And this is what energy transmutation is about. Wherever the energy comes from, if that's coming from your sexual impulses or sexual urges, good sleep at night, or it's coming from the purpose of the mission, wherever the energy is coming from, how you utilize and how you channel. So most men don't leak energy because they're weak. They leak energy because they're unconscious. So every time you end up impulsively acting out behavior, it's because you fell unconscious. If you stayed conscious in that moment, which is the presence, the third P, then you wouldn't have leaked that energy. You would have stayed present and sat through these impulses and urges, because they will pass, they are temporary. But if you can sit in that uncomfortability and start to actually gain and build the muscle of sitting through these uncomfortable urges and sensations and learning to work with them rather than escape or release or run away from them, then you will become a master of this energy. Without presence, retention becomes suppression. Energy ends up stagnating. It ends up being suppressed. It ends up building up, and it ends up manifesting in chaos and destruction. This is why the third P I actually think is the most important, because you're staying present, you're staying conscious, and you're choosing to sit with this rather than suppressing it or allowing it to build up in negative manners and then transmute and express itself in negative ways. When I say negative ways, releasing, I don't feel is a negative way. That's just been your automated response to move this energy or release this energy for such a young time, for such a long time. Most males have been masturbating from the age of 12, 13, 14, sometimes even younger than that. So if you're I'm in my mid-20s now, so it's over 10, 15 years. I've been, over 10 years I've been doing this, like repeating that habit for over and over and over again. So for you to believe that you're just going to take up on semen retention, do a month of retaining and you've mastered the urges, no. This is going to be a lifelong practice, or at least it's going to take you a very, very long time to get a handle on this. So give yourself, I tell you what, I didn't even plan this on for the video, that this is going to be the fourth P, patience. Give yourself patience. Allow yourself time to work through this practice in your own way and allow this to navigate, allow you to navigate this practice in your own personal time, and have patience with yourself. Allow these relapses to happen, because every time they do, you learn a lesson. You learn yourself a little bit more. You learn how to master your energy a little bit more. So patience is going to be the fourth P that I didn't actually include in the original video. You don't know how long you're going to be dealing with this for. If you've been repeating a habit consistently and it's become your default mode, default way of releasing energy, it's going to take a long time for you to undo and retrain your. It's going to take a long time for you to retrain your physiology and your mental habit. This is your body's trained to release energy that way, and also your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, has also been trained through constant repetition over years and years and years, probably thousands of times, to release energy in this manner. So you're retraining your physiology, you're retraining your mind and retraining your habits by taking upon our 4P purpose, why, and your life purpose, how to direct and channel this energy, your practices, so how to actually circulate and move this energy around, presence, how to actually bring attention to the sensation and stay with it rather than releasing or escaping it. Patience, so actually having patience with yourself and allow this journey to just unfold and just flow, and take it all as trying to zoom out when you do relapse and say, all right, hold on a minute, this is what's happened. I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to take the lessons from it. And we're going to move on. We're going to get straight back on the wagon, and we're going to do better next time. Purpose gives direction. Practice gives movement. Presence gives control. Patience gives self-love. Another big element of what I've spoken upon but haven't spoke about directly here is focus. So where you focus your attention is where you put your energy. So if you can focus more on these positive things and these practices and these P's that I've just spoke about today, that energy will be allowed to transmute and direct into more positive things. So I'm going to leave it on that, guys. I think I've covered everything there. I've just thought it was a good framework that may help you. So if you can start implementing this into your life, it's definitely going to bring some benefits, and you're definitely going to utilize this practice in a much more efficient manner. So just keep these in mind, these 4 P's. All right, implement these into your life and you'll be able to master your sexual energy. All right, I'm going to sign out on that, Earth Ones. Peace.